In England, what normally happens, yes, we get big wins in the league title, but it doesn't happen this early. The league's normally competitive, and then maybe in the last month, 6 weeks of the year, the top team just stretches and the others begin to think we're not there yet, and you get a gap forming, and that's it. But never have I seen anything like this. 2 points dropped means that right now they could get 112 points.
Chelsea United play Monday night, 2 tomorrow, Villa play Spurs, and it's Arsenal against Newcastle. That is extraordinary.
You used to win it with 79.
Yeah.
But you can get 112 points. There's only 114 available, Richard. It's quite extraordinary.
Tough conditions to play football match in, but like you always do, you find a way to win.
Sounds strange. I still don't like it if somebody says you always find a way. So far we found obviously very often a way, and it's all up to because of the character of the boys. So that's just exceptional. The mentality is exceptional. Yes, we didn't play 95 minutes brilliant football. I don't think it would have been possible in these circumstances, to be honest, because the wind was not only there, it was changing directions, came from left, right, front, so that makes football difficult. But yeah, we did what we had to do, especially we improved in the second half, because we did told the boys what was wrong. Positioning, lines were too far apart from each other, so we had no chance for second balls, didn't follow our passes, last line stayed deep, midfield stayed deep, lost the ball, counter-attack. That's how it is. Not massive threat, but a threat. And so, yeah, the worse you play in the first half, it didn't very that worse, but the lesser good you play, the easier it is to improve, and that's what we did. And just only trend and a bit higher helped already massively in all these little things. So we were there, 1 ball's back. They could not really build now confidence. I think they felt pretty good after the first half. Second half, they cannot felt that brilliant, and so scored the goal. Yeah, and win the game. Crazy.
I don't know you pick out because your goalkeeper makes a big save, you keep another clean sheet. What's that? 4th game in 5?
I know, but I'm 100% sure that it was offside. So I didn't see it back yet, but I'm really sure it was offside. It was, and then he doesn't have to make the save, but that's how it is nowadays. Yeah, you wait because we are, and then afterwards nobody talks about it. Everybody says they had a big chance. We had it against Chelsea, maybe you remember in the Super Cup, that they had 3-4 chances, and afterwards was all offside. So. Yeah, but second half the shot, I think, from Pukki was on a man, but we have to save it first, so that was all good. Yeah, Ali is our giant there, and keeps the ball and keeps us in the games and stuff like that. So how can you win that amount of games, number of games, if you don't have a good goalie? So obviously we have a very good goalie, that helps.
Forgotten about him.
Yeah, well, it's amazing. There's such an array of players come through the Premier League who come, grace it at times, then disappear, and suddenly you're watching a league from another country.
I saw you leap up.
I just had no idea where Mkhitaryan was.
Liverpool. I don't want to get deeply into the technology, but was there a push in here?
Well, do you know that the way they're running the rule over it is, had a free kick been given, right, they wouldn't have overturned it. But now that a goal was scored, they're not overturning it. It's not for me a clear and obvious error. I think if he'd have given a foul, I wouldn't have complained.
Is there a push?
There's a nudge.
Mark?
Yeah, well, when I saw it, it's different angles. I think these last couple of angles show it more clearly, in my view. As soon as I saw that his hand was raised, I thought, well, VAR will chalk that off. They didn't, which was actually a surprise to me, because I've seen lesser contact than that being chalked off by VAR. That's why you worry about the consistency.
I think it's the same with the penalties, Mark. A lot of them, they don't overturn them unless it's a massive error.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think that was a massive error.
Yeah, we're not going down the road, because you've not been with us all season long, as we've had to at different times, but it still comes down to a matter of opinion. More often than not. And there's another one today. Even matter of fact last night at Wolves was a matter of opinion for me, as you've explained today. That's it, no more. We'll look back on it when we come back. Reaction just as soon as we have it. Games of... It gets, on weekly, more difficult, doesn't it?
I know.
What?
Congratulations.
Yeah. It was Manchester City that was supposed to do this. Do you remember 2 years ago? We were told they'll go on now and dominate for a decade. You said, and you were one of only one that I knew, no, they won't. The others will get close. Will the same happen here?
Yeah, well, Mark's already touched on that. What we've seen for Liverpool the last 2 seasons is extraordinary. I mean, extraordinary. What have I got? What have they played? 26 games plus 38, 50, 64 games, league games they've played, and they've lost 1. 64 league games.
Wow, it's incredible, yeah.
It's an extraordinary passage of, not dominance, because City were up and won it last year, but it's an incredible passage. So can they do it again next year? No, not to that level. I don't believe so. Mark's right. The others will need to get better.
Who do we see getting
everyone
better?
below them. Well,
Spurs?
City will have to get better. Spurs will, you would expect to get
City
better.
have to get better. City might not get better. City might get worse.
No, well, I would think they'll get better. Chelsea, I expect Chelsea to get better.
My point is, if they're not playing Champions League football next year, how many of those boys are staying? Let's come back to it in just a moment. A couple of the boys in Norwich are waiting to talk to us. Here they are.
Sadio, Jordan, we had for the first time ever a winter break, but it's very much a case of normal service resumed today.
Yeah, we've had a good break, good week's training as well, so that was important because we knew that it would be difficult coming here, even though the bottom of the league, I think they still cause teams problems, they still play football, and they caused us 1 or 2 problems, but overall I thought it was another good performance in the end, and thankfully we got the goal to get the 3 points.
Sadio, was it double delight for you? Back after 3 weeks out with a hamstring and your 100th goal in English football.
Really? Wow, thank you. Yeah, it was not easy because as a football player, everyone want to play all the time, but yeah, you have to deal with. And I go do some treatment and I work hard and I come back. But at the same time, our strong team and the boys do a great job, and yeah, it's that we are Liverpool, we are a strong team, and we're happy with our result today.
Norwich appealed for a foul. Did you give him a little nudge?
Is it foul? I don't think so. I think yeah, I push him, so a little bit push, which is normal in football. So I think it was goal for my opinion.
John, when Fabinho came on, did that give you more licence to get further forward?
Well, a little bit, because obviously Fab come on, he went in the 6 and I went in the half on the right and the 8. But still, the dangerous on the counter attack, so you got to be wary of protection as well. But yeah, managed to get in the box a couple of more times. A few half chances to either set a goal or get a shot away, but overall I think it was tough conditions for both teams. In the end, we've got to be delighted with the result.
How much did the conditions play a part today?
A little bit, when it's windy it always affects the game, but like I say, it's the same for both teams, you just got to get on with it. And like I say, we've just got to be delighted with the 3 points. There's still things we can improve on, of course, but we've got to get ready for another big game midweek now.
15 more points would see Liverpool win the title. Every time I ask you about this, you don't talk about it at all. You never go anywhere near it. But how close do you feel to achieving your target that you set out with at the start of the season?
Yeah, well, I think it was the target from the beginning. So I think at the same time we're doing very well. And yeah, I think we still have more game to one step. Yeah, so we will do everything possible as a team and carry on the same way, and we'll see what's going to happen in the season.
Yeah, again, bored of me saying it, but one step closer, game by game, just focus on the next game. Another massive game for us coming up midweek in Champions League, so we've got to recover really quickly, but just keep doing what we've been doing all season, no need to change.
Well, it's fabulous stuff, and your fans certainly aren't bored of it. One more job for you, please, Jordan, for his cameo performance. Alongside you as the man of the match.
Thank you.
Well done, guys, congrats. Goal number 100.
Telling them, it's interesting if you look back at all the great teams that Liverpool have over the years, the 70s and early 80s, 90s teams, fantastic teams, and where does this team compare in comparison to all those teams in the past? They've got to be right up there, you have to say, because week in, week out, having this record that they're going for now and still got European Champions Leagues to go for in midweek, huge game for them in midweek, but you have to say they showed respect to Norwich, played a really strong team. I think they all want to play. You can tell they just want to play every game, and they're just knocking off the games as they go along now.
See, they could have. This was a day, really, when you think what's coming up midweek, Champions League, massive game.
Could have made
this
changes.
was a day they could have made a load of changes. They could have said to Firmino and Salah, you go and sit with Maidne. Right? They could have said to Van Dijk, you stay just in case you get a twisted ankle or something like that. They could have said that to 3 or 4 of them today, because they really don't need to win this particular football match. So it's a measure of what the respect Klopp paid them, that they only left Maidne out.
Do you think that is as a result of coming off a break, and how do you sit with the break? Is it something that we should have adopted sooner?
I think the break has been there for a long time. You know, the reality is that unfortunately you usually had to go out of the FA Cup to get a break in the season, because then you could have you miss a weekend of the FA Cup, so everybody says, right, you need to get away.
So were you picking teams in the third round then to...
No, say absolutely knew I shouldn't have mentioned that, but
it's like getting booked to make sure you miss Boxing Day, isn't it?
Well, that happened in your day. No,
never happened to you?
No, never did that.
Really?
Never did, honestly.
Honestly, you got the cheek to sit there and say, honestly. Did you ever play on Boxing Day?
Well, I turned up on Boxing Day a few times.
You never played on Boxing Day. It's funny that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just purely a coincidence. So you would pick a team then in the third round that you wouldn't go out to lose, but you knew might not make the progress.
Absolutely no. You go third round of the FA Cup. It's one of the dates in the football calendar.
Right.
So you pick.
Certainly used to be, It certainly used to be. Not so much now.
Used to be, yeah.
But actually I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good way of looking at it. If a Premier League club goes out in the third round and they get 2 weeks off at the end of January.
Of course.
Yeah, everybody goes away.
It's all part and parcel
So it has been there.
the modern game, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
but now it's officially there. Is it something that we should adopt regularly going forward?
Yeah, I think so. I think there is a need for it. Clearly, I think the Christmas period is wrapped up in the tradition of British football, English football, and no one is going to move those dates, because really the reality of those dates over Christmas is hard work. People get injured, too many games in close succession.
We're seeing now, aren't we, the number of players, and Andy's not having it, but we're seeing now that the effects of that. So many top-end players with hamstring injuries and calves.
And it's always been there, and you realise that, and you have to get through it, so you play through it. We always have done, but having the break, like I said, at the top level, I think it's needed. Clearly, Liverpool, Champions League games, high-level games against high-level teams. At some point, you've got to have that break just to regroup and go again.
Do we like the break as it is structured now? The break, although the teams get a 2-week break, it's actually 3 weeks it's stretched over. There's some of the first 2, then there's 1 outside. So it's a 3-week sort of gap. And I just wondered, why not have just a 2-week break where everybody's off at the same time, it's done, and it's over with.
Do you want an answer to that?
Yeah.
Domestic broadcasters back in the UK.
It's your guys' fault.
Well, it's not ours. But that is the reason for that. They won't have a complete break because football is required to drive subscriptions.
Actually, I don't like the stagger break like we've had. I didn't like that.
No.
I think there's something missing. Either have a break or don't have a break.
Agreed.
And I didn't like the staggered break. I don't know why. It just didn't sit right.
No, I agree. Southampton's quite handy having Mark here because he's managed